Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about nuclide symbols, ions, isotopes, and go a little bit more in depth than I did in my last video. Now, I would suggest watching my last video before you watch this video, so if you haven't watched it already, then click on the link in the description and just watch the video first. And now you can just fast forward through the video, and if you already know, then you can watch this video. Now, in my last video, I talked about what is an atom. So, we talked about how an atom, in the middle, it's got a nucleus. Inside the nucleus, there are protons, neutrons. I'm just going to write P's for proton. Now, this is just a diagram. So, the N's are the neutrons, and the P's are the protons. And outside the nucleus, there's an area called the electron cloud. And outside the nucleus, the orbital shells located in the electron cloud. Now, in the first orbital shell, as we talked about in the last video, there can be 2 electrons. Now, the reason these electrons are separated from each other are because, well, they both have a negative charge. Electrons have negative charges. So, and negative repel, and positive repel. So, that's why the electrons, they stay away from each other here. So, oxygen, we can use oxygen as an example. And sorry, just had to cough. And yeah, so on the periodic table, you can see oxygen like this, then O, and then on the top left-hand corner, there's an 8, which is the atomic number, and then at the bottom, there's the atomic mass. So we can identify the atoms by their number of protons. Sorry, I just had to cough. So here we can identify the atoms by the atomic number right here, or the number of protons. And then we find that, see here, the atomic mass. The atomic mass, I'm gonna just say the atomic mass, AM for short, is equal to the number of protons. I'll say it like this. Number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So here we see that there are 8 protons, and the atomic mass is 16. 16 is equal to 8 plus, well, 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. So we know that there are 8 neutrons in oxygen. 8 neutrons. I'll write that here. Okay, so now you might be thinking, well, how is this possible that the atomic mass is the number of protons and the number of neutrons? Well, each proton and each 1 proton and 1 neutron is about 1 atomic mass unit. And electrons, but electrons, they don't really make up the atomic mass because they're a lot less. They have a lot less mass than protons and neutrons. Okay, so we've got oxygen here. Oops. Oxygen. And if the oxygen atom has 8 protons and 8 neutrons, the atomic mass is 16, which means it's oxygen 16. Okay, now I'm going to talk about what a nuclide symbol is. Well, I'm going to use oxygen for an example again, because it's fairly easy to use as an example. So, write oxygen. Now, at the bottom left part, we would write the atomic number, which is the atomic number, which is 8. And then we also know that oxygen's mass number is 16. We can put the top left, right? Now we're just going to say that this oxygen atom has 8 neutrons. 8 neutrons. Oops. 8 neutrons. And the atomic number is the number of protons, so 8 plus 8 is 16. Now, this right here might not be 16. If it could be 17, not 16. It depends. The mass number depends on the number of neutrons. The number of neutrons, and here there's 8 in this situation. So if the number of neutrons differ, then that's called an isotope. Then there's also an ion. An ion, when just like an isotope is if the number of neutrons differ, ion is when the number of electrons differ. Now, if the number of electrons and the protons are the same, then we don't, right here in this area, we don't put anything. But if there's one more proton than electron, then that means it's a -1 charge, right? But then if there's 2 more electrons, then instead of this, it would be +2. Or sorry, not positive, +2. So, yeah. Or sorry, I messed it up. If there are 2 more protons than electrons, so let's say there's 5 protons and 3 electrons, then that means the charge would be +2 because electrons are negative. Made a mistake. But if there are instead protons are 3 and the electrons are 5, that means there's 2 more electrons, and electrons, remember, they're negative, so the charge would be -2. So basically, to review isotopes and ions, an isotope is when there's an atom gains neutrons or loses neutrons. And ions are when an atom gains electrons or loses electrons. Okay guys, so thanks for watching, and please subscribe and like for more videos.